from the earliest days of medieval times when kings and warriors wasn't drones, from East Asia emperors to Japanese samurais meditating on their thrones, to the American Indians where the chiefs called that their first homes, to South Africa where the Zulu nation tribes was the strongest bone, all the way back to Rome where the Caesars ruled the thrones. Opposition in place to prevent a black messiah from rising on the throne. The energy of warriors is all the same. Let's talk to the evil force, hopefully it leads us home. Bones as strong as Homes. It's a lost tribe. Who would have ever known? No phones, nonverbal communication. Sophistication was associated with wealth. It's a lost tribe. That's why I just stay to myself. Stealth in my studies. Machiavelli, tell me the true psychology of the human animal.
Lift their veil.
So when you look into all these like esoteric teachings, when you look at and you study men like Machiavelli, Prince Machiavelli, and others like him through the recording of history, I feel like all these esoteric teachings, all these philosophies was geared towards the gear of man down his journey to overcome himself on the deepest spiritual levels. Now, when you look at whether it's the Bible, whether it's the Torah, or whether it's the Quran, it all reverts back to mankind overcoming his evil ways, his animalistic ways. Now, according to Robert Greene and his journalism, he said that every human wears a veil, likewise Machiavelli. But I guess my whole thing was like, well, how can you, if these principles are here for mankind to learn and understand and overcome his lower nature and overcome himself, then that's the way you can lift the veil with your own individuality and your own individuality down your journey. But how do you do that? These are the questions I'll be asking myself down this journey. And the only thing I could think of is it's like, how could you overcome something that's already incorporated within your own DNA? And the only thing I could think of was the story of Jesus in the Bible. Now, I'm not a Christian or anything like that. I'm a spiritual being. But the principles in there is very dualistic. There's bullshit in there and there's violent things in there. But that's another story for another day. So when they talk about Jesus going down this journey and overcoming himself, when they talk about his story, lead the wild to the ways on how a man should live his life, even to not being friends with the world. This guy, man, in his higher conscious to overcome himself, overcome his evil, his lust, his hate, his envy. I mean, and when they talk about not being friends with the world and not indulging into certain things, I can see why it could be a detriment to mankind within itself, and the sacrificing the body, sacrificing the flesh. So how do you overcome it? You submit yourself onto it. You get up under it. You consume it, and that's how you conquer it. When you look at these movies and stories with the mythologies and hitting to that, right? So human nature. When you watch these shows, whether it's The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, how when shit get real, how we start breaking down into tribes. That so is part of our nature. But when we start breaking down into tribes, it's like speaking of The Walking Dead. You know the zombies' nature. You know that nature. But it's like 7 people or less on the planet, and they doing all fuck shit to one another, stealing, lying, manipulating. So that shows you that is a deep human nature within humankind. So I like to challenge the theory and ask myself, like, now I'm saying, like, well, okay, we dualistic, we all understand that, but how could we walk upright? You know what I'm saying? How could we walk upright in society? You understand what I'm saying? Now, evil and good could be based off perception. You know what I mean? But how can we lift our own veils and be true to ourselves as we walk down this journey? Right? So when you tap into these teachings, I'm interested into not the more so of the Western philosophy, but more so the esoteric philosophy, occult philosophy, the philosophy among the human perception, beyond the human perception. Like I'm saying, because that's I feel like that's the information that really start tapping into the autonomy of mankind. You understand what I'm saying? And understand why our minds are so easily corrupt, and why we so easily compromise. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you look deep into it, like I'm saying, it's truly not about the strongest alpha. It's truly the study hand, the diligent hand that rules. Like I'm saying, that and with that information, with that esoteric information, occult philosophy, that's how the elite is able to rule nations for empires for centuries. You understand what I'm saying? So we look at these things, and we got to understand these things. Down this journey, I'm just starting to understand these things is very, very valid. These principles are very, very important to go down your journey in an individual day. And then these biblical principles, I see why they say don't be friends with this world. It's so distracting. It could turn the most righteous of men corrupt. It could turn the most virtues of women corrupt. You know what I mean? And the best way to deviate yourself from that is to roll dolo, because the world is so low level. As we see, like right now, mankind, humanity is at an all-time suffering. So you go back to your old ways. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at these things, that's the questions I ask myself, and that's the theory that I'll be wanting to test. You know what I mean? To keep on moving forward down this journey. So that's what I want to say. I'll catch y'all next week.